Hey everybody, and welcome back to the second live stream of the day 2 of Pulsechain, and we're just getting warmed up, really, aren't we? So it's a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself out there, and of course we're going to be doing a popular topic, PulseX ratio trading and the best yield farming strategies. Hopefully you're going to find some things that you didn't think about on this live stream. So unless you're a pro trader, this is going to be for you. So hopefully it'll give you some really insights into what's going on with the Pulsechain as we ramp up before bridge. This is pre-bridge, so it's going to be pretty exciting. So let's get into it. Let's see who's in the chat there. Let me just get out of some of this. I've got some other stuff there, so let's make sure I'm on the right page. That sounds pretty good to me. Who is in here? So we got Crypto Tycoon. Let's go, second stream. Hello, Hex Token. Good to see you there, Crypto Tycoon. We got Hexkin for life. Hello, Superman. Can you confirm if it's wrapped tokens like wrapped ETH? If someone is wanting to cash out of Pulsechain, you can then send that wrapped ETH via the bridge to the cash out successfully. Yeah, if it's the receiving wrapped ETH there from the Ethereum chain, then yeah, you'll be able to send that back over the bridge. You might have to do some swapping if you're using other tokens on Pulsechain to wrap out, but you should be able to use all the wrap tokens that have come via the bridge. So yeah. Hopefully that's clear. So when people send stuff from Ethereum, they put the lock in the real stuff on one side of the official Pulse ramp bridge, and on the other side they issue out a wrapped token. So that wrapped token will go into different trading pools, so you should be able to go out through most peers, subject to liquidity. But yeah, that'd be perfectly fine. Obviously, the bridge is going to be bilateral, so it's going to go two ways. And but hey, a lot of people are going to be coming in, so we'll see how that goes. Hex down unders in house there. Woo! It's time to have some fun on Pulsechain, 100%. That's what we're going to be doing. We got Cone Borgs in house, new member. A big shout out there, Cone Borgs. I'm not sure. Brian, our community leader, one of our two community leaders, put out 10 free memberships in our first live stream. Now, not many people took those up yesterday. I don't know whether they could not see the button or whatever, but there may be on the chat there some sort of free membership there. There's still quite a few there sitting there, so just definitely grab that for free. And that's pretty cool from Brian. Really nice gift. So maybe check around the chat there. I don't know what it would look like, but you maybe have a free membership there, so big shout out. Anyway, Cone Borgs, welcome to the team. I can't remember if you're already a member or just renewing or not, but great to have you on board. Now, Crypto Tycoon's in house as well. I'm ready for the bridge. I'm ready for economic energy and development, 100%. We can't wait. As Richard Hart said in his tweet earlier today, it's the quiet before the storm, which was the topic of our title of our video for our first live stream. Pretty awesome. Hey, Matt and Barley's gifted out a membership, and Kate Fergus picked it up. Nice one there, Kate Fergus. Big shout out. So congratulations and big thanks to Matt as well. Who else is in there? Check my pulse. Evening Superman. Woo-hoo-hoo. Good to see you. Check my pulse. We got Lal Height in the house there. Good to see you as well. Chris A says win bridge. Looks like going to be 48 hours till bridge. Yeah, so we're expecting it in with a 24 to 48 hours. It could happen overnight US time, or it could happen following that, but it's definitely queuing up. So I kind of like it at the moment. It's kind of a cool opportunity. Now, I know a lot of you are asking when bridge, but think about it. When bridge, as soon as that bridge comes, the game changes. You have an advantage at the moment pre-bridge. You have an advantage at the moment pre-bridge. So you're very lucky to be playing around on here. And of course, we're going to talk about that in a second. So I know a lot of people wanted the bridge, but just remember, if you're not ready, then you could end up being competing against a lot of other people for the assets that you're after. So if you haven't been thinking about how to get the most assets before the bridge, then that might not be great for you. So just remember that you'll be competing against a lot of other people. So you got a much smaller pool. We got Chris Corrigal in the house there. Good to see you, Chris. Hi from Seattle. Big shout out to you, Chris, there. And Seattle's one of the places I'd like to go to. It sounds like a beautiful place. So definitely cool to see you in the house, Chris. Matt and Barley in the house there with the Supermans. Like that, Matt. Always a pleasure. Two Supermans means two Bintang beers. I think there's two Supermans. Yeah. We got Check My Pulse as well. Win bridge for ratio trade. He Hex for Hex. Ratio trade. He Hex for Hex. I don't know, but that's coming up soon in terms of the wrap bridge. What else there? Chris Corrigal says, anyone having any issues swapping? Well, the gas prices are very high at the moment. So I think swapping is around about, I don't know, probably around 1,600 to 2,000 pulse at the moment. We're going to talk about that too. That's one of our first topics. So what we're going to do in this live stream is we're going to do a quick overview of Pulsechain, what's happening on the Pulsechain and PulseX. And then we're going to get into ratio trading, and then we're going to talk about yield farming strategies, the best yield farming strategies. So stay tuned for that. There'll be some key insights, hopefully, that you guys will pick up. And anyway, so yeah. Right, so let's get into that. We got how to find Hedron copies. Well, I don't know. Is this a yield farming course? Check My Pulse. You should know better, man. We'll come back to that later on. That's kind of leave those non-topic, off-topic questions for later on, and we'll talk about that then. Matt and Barley says, should we be seeing a copy Hex on Pulsechain, Pulse I see some Pulse, which I guess I means picked up the ETH, but no Hex. Once again, we'll talk about all those later on. There's all kind of off-topic questions. Mark says, hey, any ideas on high pulse fees to move pulse from one wallet to another? They want 114 pulse a few minutes ago. That's right. So even transfers are going to be high, and we're going to talk about that. So our first topic is the gas fees and what's happening with the network. Conroy's in house there. Thanks for all the help. You're welcome. We got Matt says 700 pulse to mint PCN. Yeah, the gas prices are high at the moment, so that's the way it goes. When 1000X0 want to preset all my sellers, says Matt. Yeah, you and everyone else there, Matt, you and everyone else. That's not going to be exactly how it's going to play out. But at the moment, all the metrics are super bullish on the chain, apart from the inconvenience at the moment of high gas fees, which is actually a positive. But you guys, I know, will be frustrated about that with getting your positions in place. Pulsechain says Zen killed Pulsechain. No, it didn't. Zen has made Pulsechain accelerate its bullishness. So we're going to talk about that. So cool. We've got Hex Down Under as well, 20. What's a 20 about there, Hex Down Under? Hex Down Under's got the, what's Hex Down? What is that? Is that something else? 20, you say? Well, Hex Down Under is a member for 1 month as a Pulsechain, so a big shout out to you, Hex Down Under. It doesn't show up in my studio, unfortunately, but great stuff. Chris A says, so right now we are about 32 hours since launch, so about 16 hours till we're at 48 hours. I don't know about that. So we're quite that far ahead. Let's say 1 o'clock plus 6, 24, 30 hours. What do you say? 32. Yeah, that's about right. Chris is right about that then. So about 16 hours to 48 hours. Yeah, that's why I keep saying probably 24 to 48 hours from now, but definitely we're in that window, Chris, where we could easily start to see that the bridge open. But like I say, I think the earliest it will probably open is overnight while I'm sleeping. That's probably when it will probably open there, Chris. And I'll wake up tomorrow having to scurry around to do my daily live stream. That's probably what will happen. Pulse Demics and Halsey, you're a machine streamer from across the big waters. Thank you for your commitment. Hey, you're welcome, Pulse Demic. And of course, Matt and Barley says, how many beats in a pulse, please? We'll talk about that in a second. Tom Boss says, are there any good stat sites up showing things like total supply, burn, etc.? No, Tom Boss, I would like to see that. Ethereum has money, and I wish we had a site like that too. So yeah, there are multiple burns happening on Pulsechain at the moment, and PulseX. There are burns. We got validator burning. We got the EIP 1559 burn. We've got the PulseX buy and burn. And it's really, really fun to see all these burns happening at the moment. So it really is quite cool on the burn side. We've got lots of killer dApps, PulseX, and of course Zen currently helping that burn be supercharged. Someone said Zen killing Pulsechain. No, Zen is a killer dApp. When you build an infrastructure, you want killer dApps to come on, and that's just unfortunately they're all pricing in for the block space, right? So they're all pricing the block space, and they have to pay for it. So eventually they run out of money, right? So eventually they run out of money, and of course that slows down, and that's what we have seen. But it's just taking a little while to get back down to a lower level where we all think it's comfortable as retail people as we're trying to get our positions ready, right? So I can tell you this already. I've already played a bit of fees in Pulse to get positions in the right place. So just the way it goes. Stitz is in the house there, paying people 500,000 Pulse to mint Zen right now. Yeah, that's right. So you can think about that. If you've got Pulse and other things like that, you're benefiting from all that. So maybe short-term pain, but for a long-term super gain. That's all I can say. Rango's in house there. Afternoon all. Good to see you. Hey, Hex Token. David Kern as well. I only have PulseX. Should I swap some for Pulse before the bridge opens? That would be a wise move. Obviously, with no financial advice on this channel, you must do your own financial, advice or whatever. But that would make sense to have a bit of everything of Richard Hart tokens. All right, we're going to jump through a lot of this. We've got a lot of questions coming up there. I'm going to attend to those a bit later. Hey, Superman, thank you for the kind gift. You're welcome, Cape Figure. And I don't know if it was me that gave it to you. I think it was someone else, wasn't it? So who gave you that? I think it was Matt and Barley. So big shout out to Matt and Barley. Matt and Barley says hex.com hex stake page still not working. Man, you guys are asking all our top questions. I should have said this is all basic questions you guys are asking. This is yield farming and ratio trading, guys. I'll never get it to if I ask all these sort of administration questions you guys have got going on there. All right. You guys need one-on-one attention. I can see that. All right, so let's get into it, folks. We've got Pulsechain ticking away, and of course, it is live. So we're going to go to the Beacon Explorer, and we can see that the gas prices are really high. You guys are talking about, doing transfers at 200 Pulse at the moment. Seems insane. On testnet, of course, when we didn't have all the congestion, we were doing it down at 0.303 for transactions. And now we're way up here at like 200 for transfer. If you're doing a swap on PulseX, it's like 1,600, 2,000, 2,200. When we're up around this 4.5 million beats or Gwei. So it's causing a lot of havoc there for the short term retail. But you got to remember when this first launched, you can see here that the gas prices when Zen launched earlier today, Zen launched, and of course it was up at 31 million beats or Gwei there, really huge on the beats. And of course, it's come down since then, but it's just taking its time. The hour before this, it got down to a low of 1.5 million, which would have been a lot lower cost. Probably, I don't know, around about maybe for a swap, probably down to, I'm just taking a guess here, maybe down to 600 or something like that, Pulse or something. So definitely coming down. At the moment, it's spiked back up to 4.4 million. Now, I don't think this is going to slow down. It's going to find itself a level, but the Zen minters are pretty hardcore when they launch. And of course, as we expect them to go really strong at the beginning and then taper down, and we'll find some probably a lift up overnight when the Americans particularly are active on the exchanges. So just take that into account. It is going to come down, but there will be a lot more volatility, and where it starts to lower, we will see in the future. It's only just launched. So let's see why that has happened. We can see here on Zen Network here that there's currently around about 210. This is what it's saying. Is that updated? I think that's quite updated there. Anyway, it's saying 210,000 at the moment. So you can see this has been running at probably around about there at 230. That's what I wanted to say. So it's been running at about 20,000 an hour. I think that is. So 227, just to do that quickly. 27, yeah. So yeah, around 19,000 an hour is global mints have been minted out. So that's using a lot of gas here on the blockchain. Now, the other thing, of course, is there's a lot of ratio trading with the yield farming. So that's ticking along as well. The Block Scale Explorer has had a lot of issues trying to handle the high congestion. So remember, that's high congestion. So remember, there's only a certain amount of block space. And of course, people are bidding up to get that paid and using that block minting. So that's kind of what's causing havoc there. We did get the data for the 13th of May. So a part of the first day there, we got 655,000 transactions recorded on the Pulsechain block scale. So that was kind of cool to see that. We are running a slightly higher than the 10-second block times as well as at the moment, so 10.04. And obviously the chain data is indexing So that's probably going to take a few weeks, is my guess, for that to fully index, maybe 6 weeks. Who knows? It's going to take a little while. Now, we've got the blocks ticking along here at the moment, and as you can see, the block scale's definitely struggling a little bit there. Now, if you've got a CLI, if you're running like a node or a validator, you'll probably have no problems at all. You can see a lot of the stuff, and also obviously on the Beacon Explorer for the base stuff, you can see all the validator details. This is not impacted. That's pretty much ticking away as normal. But the block scout there for the rest of us, definitely having a little struggle time dealing with that, and I'm sure the team will probably, I don't know what they can do to tweak that, but probably notice that and working on it is my guess. Now, what else we're going to say here? So the chain's been performing extremely well, and of course here we've got the fact that it's been roughly 24 hours, this person says, in Pulsechain existence, and this is how its DEX's PulseX compares to other major blockchains. Once we have the bridge, we'll get an idea of the dollar amount of trades. But you can see all the different DEXs here: Ethereum, BSC, Arbitrum, Polygon, Optimism, all the way down through to the smaller ones here, ETH Power, ETH Fear. And you can see the transactions are going through the chain. And a look at Pulsechain at the bottom there, 369,000 and 24-hour volume. Awesome, right? No bridge yet either. Pretty cool. And you can see how high that is. Super, super awesome. And of course, beating out Ethereum there. A number of transactions, Arbitrum. So really, really impressive results there. So that's the first thing going on. So lots of transactions going through. And of course, the people paying high prices to get their transactions included in the block there. So that's pretty cool. Now, obviously, we're pre-bridge. So we're waiting for the Pulsechain bridge to go live. And of course, at the moment, this message is still there. So you have to keep refreshing this, I guess. Wait for Richard Hart's tweet or something like that, because this is still ticking away. This message will go away when the Pulsechain mainnet bridge is live. So we're waiting for that. That is when the US dollars, the stable coins will come in, ETH example and all sorts of stuff. And it is a wrap bridge. So like I say, you lock something on one side and you issue a wrapped synthetic version on the other side. And then you can match that with the pools. And then we'll have a backed stable coin or dollar that we can measure and trade with on the Pulsechain, which is pretty awesome. Now, remember that the Sacrifice wallet is the number one holder. I think it's number 3 and number 5. It's got many of the wallets, top holder of the DAI. And that's pretty cool to see. So that is definitely the token of choice at the moment for the stables. But of course, people are able to bridge over a lot of different stuff over to Pulsechain. The other thing, of course, is we're going to have obviously wrapped version of Pulsechain tokens on the Ethereum chain as well. So let's not forget that. Wrapped PulseX, wrapped incentive tokens. So that's going to be fun to see those pools as well. All right, so that is pretty much the highlight there with the overview of what's going on. And of course, we're going to get into the second topic, which is really the main topics of the stream, which is basically PulseX ratio trading. So try and keep your questions on topic. There's a lot of admin questions there. If you've got a lot of those admin questions about little things, then get into our Discord and ask there. We've got plenty more time to focus on those little issues that you might have, but we're trying to keep on topic with this one here. Now, in my videos that I've done the last couple of days, I cover a lot of those topics that you guys have raised already. So you can watch those too. So here we are on Pulsechain, and we're talking about ratio trading. Now, a lot of people, this is the key thing to remember. So what is the number one coins on this chain? What is the biggest thing to drop in crypto? Pulsechain. And this is only day 2. The thing is ramping up, as I say. Within 2 months, we're going to have a huge ecosystem of DeFi products on top of this chain. We're going to have stable coins. We're going to have fiat on-ramps, off-ramps. We're going to have over multi-chain across DEXs and things like that. So it's really going to ramp up pretty quick. We're going to have huge DeFi within that two-month time frame. Launch forks of Aave, forks of Liquidity. They're all coming there. So it's going to be a pretty big deal as those all land on Pulsechain. Then, of course, we're going to have optimizers and aggregators like Beefy and all those sort of things go on there. We're also going to have a lot of liquids staking there as well. So that's going to be huge as well. So we've got lots of stuff still to come, and it's going to be like a balloon, just keep blowing up there. So remember that. But in the meantime, you have a small phase of ratio trading to get your positions. And of course, you've got less competition to get those positions at the moment. So it's very important that you get your positions right. And because many people are going to say, oh, I wasted this opportunity. I should have done it then. I remember I had a chance and I never did it. Well, this is your chance to get in before the bridge opens up. And of course, get those tokens. Once there's a dollar price applied, things are going to ramp up big time. And of course, Richard Hart said that himself earlier today. It is the quiet before the storm. You've got a chance, an opportunity to get your positions right. So what are the top tokens that people are after, of course? Well, Richard Hart, of course, this is the chain. So let's go through the logic there. So Pulsechain has its coin, which is like ETH for Ethereum. It is the coin. And of course, it is what people are after, the layer 1 chain. And of course, you can already see it's already started off with a roar. We've got massive transactions going through it. We've got massive burns going through it. And so it's started off with an absolute tear. We've got huge, a number of validators coming on. Everything is going dreamy from my point of view. And it's only going to get better once that bridge opens up and then all the ecosystem lands. All the big influencers are talking about it. And there's lots of rumors about some big names out there that are looking to make big moves. So it's pretty cool. So in terms of the tokens, obviously Pulse, we've got the EI 1559 burn. It is the fee for the coin for the fee. And of course, it also, all the validators are also burning for the team validators, which are dominating the number of validators at the moment. They are also burning all their validator rewards, so into burning as well. So you can see it's a beautiful thing going on here. Not only that, but we've obviously had Zen burning tons of fees, like some blocks with 155,000 fee burn, 200,000 pulse burn. I mean, this keeps going and going. So like I say, might be a short-term inconvenience, but you know, they eventually do run out of money. And of course, they pace themselves off into some sort of more even rhythm. But hey, look, that's just how the way it goes. Yeah, that's where we're at. So we've got Pulse coin. Obviously, we've also got PulseX. PulseX is the coin. Is the token for the PulseX, and of course that's a Richard Hart token as well. Now you got to remember that every single trade that happens on the PulseX gets buy and burn. So here we are on PulseX. And you can see that every trade that's on here is very, very important. So don't get distracted by too many other things. A lot of people in the know are trying to accumulate all the Richard Hart tokens pre-bridge. So that's really the big first strategy. Now, if you haven't been thinking about that, you've been thinking about all sorts of other tokens, you might want to reconsider. And people are trying to get those. So what do we say? The amount of pulse that's around. So there is a huge amount of pulse, but only so much pulse is in the public hands. Just as a rough estimate, maybe about 12.5 trillions in the public hands, and these are sacrifices, and maybe a couple of trillion is in the AMM bot that's set up PulseX. So we might be talking about give or take 15.5 trillion or so. And then of course on PulseX, we've got probably maybe around 17.2, something like that, a trillion PulseX in the house as well. So we've got those are the public supplies. Obviously there's centralized ownership with the Origin account, Sacrifice wallets, but really it's the public stuff we're looking at and care about. So people are trying to get those tokens. There are lots of supply sinks. There are burnings for both of those tokens. So you can see how that's going to be very attractive in the future to get supply down very, very fast. And of course, get a lot of inactive supply. Well, that's the other way. You either sink supply, burn the supply. Those are the two things you're going to do, right? Or stake the supply. You can stake the supply too. So that's going to be interesting. We see any solutions around that. So we've got Pulse as the coin. PulseX is the main token for PulseX. And remember that everything that trades on PulseX buys and burns PulseX. So that's going to be a huge burn mechanism. And we already reached just into the early of the second day. We already reached over 5 billion burned. Let's go have a quick look at that now before we move on. But the burn has been pretty spectacular. Yeah, we're up to 5.34 billion. As someone said earlier, we're about 32 hours into the launch of Pulsechain, and this is a spectacular level of burn and going on here. So it's pretty exciting. Now, every single thing that's trading on here is going to be buying and burning PulseX, and that's a beautiful thing. And of course, we care about the public supply going down, let's say 17 trillion or so, going down pretty fast over time. And of course, there's other use cases for that as well We won't get into all that, but that's one of the reasons for that. Obviously, there's PulseX is a dual token as well system, so it's got the incentive token. The incentive token is really, really exciting. From my point of view, I've seen these operate on other platforms, but of course, it's even better on PulseX given the mechanisms that are here. And of course, people are going to be after that. So big yield farmers with the big money coming in, and of course, especially when the bridge opens up, they want to bring their money in. They want to come and get all the tokens, and of course, they want to put those liquidity farms and start earning the incentive token. The second incentive token does have some sort of deflation over time, and of course, it also has a varying incentives are given to varying. Depends on the liquidity pair that you're trading. They'll have different incentive farming multipliers, and of course, I've gone through that in my beginner video on PulseX yield farming, so you can check that on the channel as well. That's kind of an introduction. So that's really huge too, and this is going to be part of our second part of this live stream because it's going to be pretty important. So we've got the Richard Hart tokens, right? Obviously, we've got Hex as well. And of course, those are the ones that people are really trying to accumulate and get their ratios right with that. So really, really cool. I see a lot of people saying, which token should I get? Well, this is Richard Hart's ecosystem. It's going to change DeFi and change crypto. So you might want to think about Richard Hart tokens, right? So a lot of people are doing that. There's kind of the kingmaker strategy there to get the best position before the bridge opens up. So very important. And as we know, it's typically important to get all these tokens in the early period of the launch. Let's say the first 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, that sort of period to accumulate positions. And a lot of people are doing that. I know a lot of people that are sacrificed that want to accumulate even more positions. I know some people that sacrificed that have maybe they sacrificed with PulseX. They want Pulse. So they're repositioning their positions, swapping some PulseX into Pulse for the layer 1 chain to balance out their portfolio. But typically, it's always good to have a bit of a diversification as well, even amongst the Richard Hart tokens. So people are doing that also. Some of the big whales have moved, of course. We've seen big whales move some of their PulseX into Pulse because they missed the Pulse chain, but they got big on the PulseX. So people are already making their positions move already, and you may have been unaware of that. But people are getting their positions, and people are also wanting to accumulate more. So food for thought. Now, we also had recently more moves later in today. So in day 2, we've had a lot of people have already got their positions in Pulse and PulseX. We've obviously seen people move into other PRC20s, like the big meme coins, like SHIB, like Pepe. They've been moving and accumulating. We've seen moves with those charts as well. So we're going to talk about that. We've also seen moves with the incentive token for the yield farming. We're going to talk about that too. So those are some of the cool things to see. So let's go see the first part of ratio trading, what people have been looking for at the moment. And we can see at the moment, we've got Pulse to PulseX is at a 1.1 to 3.7 ratio. And that has been pretty consistent actually over the last, I don't know, it seems like most of the day. We've got as high as just over 4 million. So we got to 1 to 4 ratio. We've been down, I think, as low as about 1 to 3 ratio. So definitely has been going a lot of fun there. So people have been swapping that. Obviously, the fees to swap at the moment are much higher because of the Zen impact on the network. We can see at the moment we've got 4.5 million beats. So that's probably, I don't know, probably about 1,600, 700 pulse a trade. So just take that into account. But when you're dealing with bigger numbers, people are willing to pay it. And of course, that goes to the block reward. And of course, a lot of it's getting burned, which is pretty neat. All right, so that is the one on there. So we're going to go to Dex Screener, and you can see a lot of the tokens trading at the moment. So we've got this is a way of seeing them all trade. And of course, we're waiting for PulseX bridge to open. Once PulseX bridge opens, we will be able to see it on the PulseX Dex itself. We can see a lot of the tokens lining up. We just don't have stables and dollars in there yet, but that will pop up once the bridge is done, and probably a little bit after that. So here we are on the tokens here. I've got them listed by price. We can see some of the popular ones at the top. I'm going to just zoom in on this and get into that. So let me just scroll this over on here. And let's see where we are. So we've got Pulse and Wrap Pulse up here, PulseX and Wrap Pulse. So when you think about DeFi, even though the coin of Pulsechain is Pulse, when you go into DeFi, you've got a sort of a subset of that Pulse coin, which is made as a PRC20 token. The same thing as on Ethereum, and of course they use that for doing the DeFi like swapping and things like that. So we've got Wrap Pulse in here. We can see that we've got that at the top there. We've got Wrap Pulse Hex. We got PulseX, Hex. So some of our top ones here. Now, two things to be careful of with the ratio trading. Stable coins, all the copies are pretty much worth nothing. So just be careful with that. And of course, don't swap out your valuable Pulse or PulseX. We've had people do it already. Swap their Richard Hart tokens out for a stable copies of stable coins, which are not backed one-to-one. So we're waiting for the bridge to open up for stables that are backed one-to-one to come over. So be very careful of doing that. I feel sorry for people that have done that. And of course, yeah, it's going to be a bit of angst there. So just make sure you don't do that. Obviously not financial advice. You're going to do your own. So these are my suggestions, but don't do that. Yeah, it's my suggestion. The other thing, of course, is copies of coins that are going to be reissued. So we've got Fiat. There's a project that's launching on Pulsechain. It's a fork of Aave. And of course, that means it's basically like a banking dApp. And of course, on it is like number 3 on Ethereum or something like that. It's huge in terms of its TVL in the billions. Obviously, on the Ethereum, they've already launched. It's about $850 million is in that platform at the moment, so it's brand new. And of course, they have issued a new token. So the one that got copied over on the Pulsechain fork on the 10th of May is called eFiat. But the actual one they've launched is Fiat. So that makes the eFiat token worthless. So some of these teams aren't communicating that very well. So if you are in projects that have decided to reissue their tokens, Zen has also reissued its token. So the old Zen contract that copied over on Ethereum is also not as worthless, but people still trade it. So it depends on the community. They still trade it, but they're essentially worthless from the underlying dApp or utility. So be careful out there with the tokens if you're involved in one of those projects to make sure that the tokens are being recognized by the team and used in the protocols moving forward. So we've seen Fiat has launched their own one called Fiat. And of course, eFiat is Gomberger. And of course, people have been trading that. Unfortunately, swapping their Pulse for it. It's sad to see, so don't do that. And of course, we've also got people with Zen. They're trading the old Zen. A lot of people dumped it early for Pulse. A very smart move. Other people are still trading it, and maybe they're just not in the know. A lot of people don't know because they're just trading the ticker and they don't see what the team's doing and the team announcements. And sometimes the team announcements are very poor or lacking. So just take that into account as well. Sometimes the teams won't really communicate very well. That's the way it goes too. So those some of the warnings there. So hopefully you guys take those onto account as suggestions, strongly worded ones. But yeah, very important that you're not trading dead tokens, even if they got copied over, because sometimes the teams reissue them. So yeah, copied stable coins, reissued tokens. Those are two big concerns that you would have. And obviously number 3 is any scammy things that you come across. Don't interact with that if you're not familiar and haven't done your double checking. So that's kind of cool there. Now on the positive side, let's see what has been going on. Obviously the Richard Hart tokens are at the top. So that's pretty cool. But what we're going to do is see what is trending at the moment in terms of ratio trading. And that is the other tokens. So the other PRC20s, we're going to look at that. But first of all, of course, rule number 1, don't trade for bad assets. Rule number 1, trade for Richard Hart tokens. Rule number 2, don't trade for bad assets, okay, or dead assets. And number 3, what are the popular PRC20s? And that's kind of your third strategy there around ratio trading, because people are going after those. And they're the next best thing after Richard Hart tokens, right? So let's see what's trading here at the moment. We're looking at the 1 hour. So we're looking at the 1 hour here on the PulseX. And we can see that we've got some weird tokens trading, BUSD and stuff like that. I wouldn't be trading that. We've got Pulse Dodge Wrap Pulse there. That is trading. You can see that's up 66% in the last hour. We've got Ladies there. I have no idea what that is, but that is up versus Pulse on 45%. We've got Internet Money Wallet there is up 40% there. But just take a note of how far it's down on the 24 hours as well. So don't get tricked out. Even though we're looking at the last hour, just take a note that that was down 82% on the 24 hours. So just take account. You have to look at the whole profile. We're just going a quick summary on the last hour, what's moving. We've got the weight token. So the weight token there, that is obviously, that's another team that has decided to issue a new token for Pulsechain. So they had the weight V1, and they issued a weight V2. And of course, you have to convert your weight into V2 tokens to take that into account. So I believe this is the old contract. So you got to get the new contract, the V2. So there's another one that's probably of no use going forward, but it's got a lot of trading going in there at the moment. It is down 50% on the 6 hours, but up quite a bit. So you want to check the contract is the latest and greatest. The other thing with that, of course, the midnight bonus is claimable now that Pulsechain has launched. That is the midnight bonus. And of course, that was stuff that wasn't claimed, reallocated. So you may have another airdrop there with the midnight bonus. And of course, you can decide to hold that Wait V2 token, or you can trade it for what? Richard Hart tokens. You got it, or something else. So there we are. The other thing we've had, of course, is the weight there. You can see that SHIB has also been performing pretty well over the last hour. But like I say, it is down 67% on the PulseX side, but up 483% on the Pulse there. So you can see the meme coins have been pretty popular that people are after. We also see that Texan's been pretty popular as well. Communist has been pretty popular, and Incentive Token there as well. So once again, just confirm with the team if they are projects that have already launched on the Ethereum side, like Communist here and Texan. They're both teams that have launched, that their tokens are honored on the side. There's no reissuance. I don't believe that Texan has any reissuance. That's pretty cool. We've got other ones in here, of course. We've got Punk popped up there. I think that's related to NFTs, the Punk there. We got the SHIB Bone there. That is up there as well. We've got Link that is up in the last little bit there as well. So there are other ones that people have been after, which is pretty cool. I'm just looking further down here. We've got Ben. So BitBoy Ben. That's been up 923% on the 24 hours. So Bitcoin Ben has been popular for Bitcoin, BitBoy, I should say. So that's like in the meme space there. What else there? We've got quite a few. I'm just looking for, we've got Floki from SHIB. What else? We've got eFiat there. That will be the old eFiat. So avoid that one. It's probably the one to avoid, one of the dead ones. You probably want to avoid that. Make sure that you get the right contracts. So I think that B5BO is the old one, the eFiat. So yeah, you want to avoid that. You want to go for the new token, fiat there. And of course, that's important. You can go to their Twitter probably or Telegram to find that. So some pretty interesting ones there. Now, I thought there'd be some here that I was looking at as well. So the other one, of course, is Pepe. Pepe has been up in the top here in the last hour or so. It looks like it's just gone down at the moment, but that's pretty important. So you can look at what's popular the last 24 hours. You can just scroll on here as well. I'm going to add this in the Discord, in the chat there, in case you want to pick it up. So boom, there we are. So yeah, if you wonder why I'm not checking the comments, is because you guys are asking so many questions that are not related to the topic. So I'm just going to come back to those later on. So that's kind of cool there. So there is the tokens here. So you can see we've got three real things with the ratio trading. Obviously, Richard Hart tokens are going to be the main game. Everything in the system is designed to pump them. Pulse, of course, with the Pulse EIP 155 fee burn, the validator burn from the team. There's so much cool stuff there. The lower yield, of course, and we've got with PulseX the big buy and burn. So you can see it's really designed to pump that. Everything trading on PulseX is going to pump that. And of course, everything trading on PulseX pumping that is also going to be burning more Pulse, right? So that's a win-win there as well. And of course, then we've got the dual token, the incentive token as well, which is big for the yield farm. We're going to talk about that. That's our last topic, which is pretty cool. So cool that you can check on here just by checking the 24 hours, what the percentage is. But once you do that, go into the token, make sure the tokens are honored. If there's some of the project teams that you think may not be honored. And of course, you can get our Discord. We'll be able to help you out with that as well. And you can see what's really moving on the last 24 hours there. So, yeah, you've got lots of tokens that are up quite a bit there. We've got CPZ in there. Moon, lots of ones in here. Ben, of course, going through SHIB. Link, these are top ERC20s. We've got Pepe here. So Pepe here made a big move. Excuse me, Pepe made a big move. Where's it gone? Down here. Pepe, of course, made a big move early on. These will move around too. They'll be sold off and all sorts of stuff. So you have to be careful with what you're trading there. So let's have a look at this Pepe one. Pepe here, obviously been popular on Ethereum lately. And of course, you can see it's a rise right up here and it's a right down. So very volatile. You can make good amount of pulse. You can lose a good amount of pulse, right? It has got a slight uptrend, but apart from that, take into account there are huge trillions of supply in this thing. So take that into account as well. So you do need to see what is the supply, what's the trend, is this thing going to hold up? All those sort of questions. It is riskier. And if you compare these kind of meme coins to Richard Hart tokens on this platform, well, that you're taking on a lot of risk reward there. So just take that into account, especially if you think that Pulse is going to be rewarded like a layer one chain does and gets pushed up and up and up in price. So be very careful about that. Gaining a bit of yield in terms of a bit of a volume versus the price upside of the token, and be very careful with that. Obviously, I put them in the order there as well. So lots of stuff happening there, and this gives you a guide of what's going on. But you do have to get a feel for these charts, understand them, and you got to make sure you get that. If you can get that done before Pulsechain, is very important. But once again, Richard Hart coins are king, so I'll just leave that with you on that one. So that's some of the coins there for ratio trading. Obviously, once you got that, you can go into any of these. You can get the contracts. So you can get after you've confirmed them, of course. You can click up the top here under info, click right here, and it will give you all the details about how to trade that on PulseX. It will take you straight to the DEX, and of course, it will also give you the contracts. And you need to, particularly if they're projects you think that are not going to be honored, you need to go and confirm that those are being honored and understand what these are that you're dealing with. This one's P-Lady. I know nothing about this Pulse Lady one. It's probably a project that's on Ethereum, but I have no idea what it is. And that is one you could check out, for example. So there we are. Now, this got a little red flag on it too. It's got 4 rockets. So what does that mean? I don't know. Someone find it dubious. You can take into account. Now, Communist, of course, that launched as well. You can go in there. And the cool thing about this is that you can get the contract details. You can also look at it on the blockchain, the Pulsechain blockchain. But once again, make sure that you understand the project pretty well if you're going to pick up some of that. So some people are speculating on some of the popular ERC20s, which are now PRC20s, like Link and SHIB and Pepe and other things like that. So it's up to you. Uni token, of course, for the Uniswap is also being speculated on. So there's lots of different ones there. Once you did it, of course, you can go to PulseX and you can ratio trade them. Just put the contract in. They'll all have different liquidity on PulseX. Just take that into account. And you can generally see, I don't know if they have it on here. No, you can't see it on here. But in terms of the amount of tokens they've got either side, they'll have them. You'll be able to trade those. So, yeah, there's no details about that on here. So some of them will have thinner liquidity than others. So that's important to know. So that's kind of the ratio trading there. I just wanted to go through what people are really looking for at the moment. Some people ask, why are they speculating on non-Richard Hart tokens? Well, they're trying to play the trends and, of course, trying to get more pulse out of it. So there'll be winners and losers out of that. Some people are going to hold the tokens longer term. Obviously, if the SHIB community comes, which we're expecting, that token could do very well, especially if you've got a lot of bag of it. A Pepe, if you've got a lot of that, maybe once the bridge opens up, that really flourishes too. So this is some people speculating short term for more Richard Hart coins. Some people speculating longer term for the upside of the community that backs those tokens coming in to get their copies and stuff like that. So there are some other things to think about. So that's kind of cool there. We're going to get into the final topic, of course, which is farming. And of course, this is something you may not have thought about. The PulseX Pulse farm here. Now, I believe that this has a 10x farm multiplier on it, just like we saw in testnet. So if we go to testnet here, you can see the old video I did on PulseX yield farming strategy, profits and impairment losses, kind of a beginner's one. You can see my video here and see what the APRs were, the annual percentage returns were for the 4 farms. Now, we've only got one at the moment. We've only got the PulseX one. But after the bridge opens up, remember, we're expecting the bridge to open up. Where's the bridge gone? Once this bridge opens up, then we're expecting stable coins and dollar numbers. And of course, you can see when we had the testnet running, once we got that, we got these 3 other farms pushed up here by the team. And so not only at the moment, we've only got PulseX and Pulse, but then we get DAI and Pulse because now we've got the stable coins in. And then we get these other pools popped up here as well. Now, this PulseX pool had a 10x multiplier on testnet v4. So that's the information we're going by here. Just remember that. There's a caveat and, of course, or conditionality there. The farm that came out with DAI Pulse, that had a 10x multiplier on the farm. In other words, what that means is that had 10 incentive tokens emitting every second, it said, based on the info that it provided. So presumably that's accurate. And, of course, then we had these 2 other pools here with the incentive PLS and incentive PLSX. These 2 pools here, they had a 40x farm multiplier on them. And, of course, look at the liquidity that came in. So the APR for this PulseX Pulse was showing at 145 after a period of time. And then, of course, you had the other farms showing over 1,000% APR on these. And of course, these two here at a 40x multiplier. When you look at the liquidity that went in, you had huge liquidity for PulseX Pulse. Of course, up in the testnet, these are just testnet values on this example, but they were at $32.6 billion. But then down the bottom here, you had much lower, around $13 billion on these lower ones. And of course, the APR there was extremely high. And of course, what were they earning? They were earning incentive. All four pools are earning the incentive token, which is the second token of the PulseX platform. It is the incentive token for the reward pool. And of course, one of the Richard Hart incentives. Richard Hart calls it the tack on coin, but really a token, but it really is. They typically perform very well. And why? Because yield farmers come in, they provide liquidity, and then they take their LP tokens, put them in these farms, and earn the incentive token. So they're earning fees and the incentive token. And of course, speculators come in as well, and they speculate the incentive token up. The other thing about the incentive token, of course, when it first starts, at the moment, we've only got this first pool, the PulseX PLSX pool. You can see that here we've only got this one pool. And of course, when it first starts, you're minting incentive token from zero. So yeah, we have these trillions of tokens of Pulse and PulseX, and we have these beautiful buy and burn mechanisms. But here for the farm, you're minting out incentive tokens from zero. So it's got a pretty small supply. And of course, a lot of people coming in for it. So that's pretty cool to know. It also has a deflationary emission curve as well, some form. We don't know exact shape. I'm not aware of the shape, but that is the play. So you can see the first strategy was the first strategy. So we're talking about the best yield farming strategies. The first strategy that people are doing is that they are putting PulseX and Pulse in the liquidity pool. So they go to the pools. They put in, not these pools, they go to the liquidity here, and they add liquidity into the Pulse and PulseX pools. They get LP tokens. They take those and they put them in the farm, but there's only one farm. And for PulseX and Pulse, they put it in there, and they are earning the incentive token. So presumably, similar to the testnet, they are earning that is running at about a 10x multiplier for the farm. So that's the first thing they're doing. So what they're doing, they're getting incentive token. Yeah, they've got potentially permanent loss, but it's brand new chain. And of course, it could just go up to the upside. Some people don't care about the ratio moving either, because they're getting in early and they're expecting everything to just go up and to the right over time. And of course, they're also earning the incentive token. So it's a pretty cool passive income earner. The other thing, of course, some of them have three options, right? They can harvest the incentive token, they can hold it, they can sell it. So that's kind of where they can do it at the moment. Maybe there'll be a third option in the future, like fiat. They can deposit incentive token in fiat and earn a little income that way. Maybe there'll be some other forms of staking or burning. Who knows what could come up with the incentive token. But that is kind of what they can do at the moment. And some people are deciding to sell it, but a lot of people are probably deciding to hold it. And why would they hold it? Price appreciation. But what else could they hold it for? You guessed it. I'm sure you did. These other pools that are going to come up post the bridge from memory. And of course, the incentive PLSX. And of course, then they'll take their incentive token that they earned in the first pool, put it in these high APR pools. And of course, they'll have to provide incentive token and PLS or incentive token and PLSX and put it into those liquidity pools when they pop up. And of course, they'll be able to then go into this and get the high APR and earn that really high incentive token. So it'll be getting even more incentive token. So maybe they're getting one incentive token a day in this first pool, but they might end up getting, say, 5 incentive tokens in these other pools when they pop up. And so that would be pretty bullish. And of course, we could see a price lead up into that. So let's see what's happening to the incentive token at the moment versus Pulse. Look at the uptrend, folks. There is the uptrend. It's already moving because people are after the incentive token, because remember, it's starting from zero. People are farming it with the liquidity pools, and that's what's playing out there. Now, they may not sell it down, of course. Why? Because they want to also take those incentive tokens and match it with Pulse or PulseX in the big liquidity pools. It's particularly the very large players that are going into liquidity farming. So pretty cool there. So we may see that strategy out. Now, there are risk trade-offs with that. So remember that there are risk trade-offs always with anything. So maybe once they go into the pools here, maybe the price of incentive slowly sells off or doesn't. Maybe because everyone sees the high APR and they want to come in, so they're all buying the incentive token, and they push the price of incentive token up versus Pulse and PulseX. as well. So that could continue the price appreciation of this token. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. Remember, it's starting off from zero, and of course, it's going to be sought after not just for the base liquidity pool, but also for these future liquidity pools as well with the higher APR. Now, APR does drop. The more people that come in and provide liquidity, the more it can drop, remember. And of course, obviously, the price can move around a fair bit as well. So pretty cool. But you can already see that's already broken out. So it was trading pretty much in this range. Probably, let's take a midpoint, about 90,000 pulse per incentive token. That is now at 170,000 per hex per token. Now, how far is it going to go? How high is it going to go? Well, it did have a blip back here earlier, went up to 266,000 pulse per incentive token. And you got to remember, people are minting out the incentive token from thin air. And so if they're getting pulse, they're getting someone else's pulse that they put in there, and they can choose to swap that out, or they can choose to hold the incentive token for these future liquidity farms coming up. So some things to think about there. There's always trade-offs there. Obviously, there's some permanent loss issues in there. But of course, if you think they're all going to go up, or Richard Heart token's going to go up early, then who cares? Are you holding incentive or pulse? I guess you don't care too much. Now, pulse will obviously be the layer one chain. And of course, the relativity in X returns on the price could make that significant. But once again, maybe the incentive token does pretty well also. So there's some give or take. There's also timing in the market. When do you sell? When do you buy? When do you go into the pools? But getting in early is typically pretty good with the high APR, and you get a lot of incentive tokens, and particularly that could leverage, that could hedge some of your volume risk on the Pulse or PulseX as well. So some interesting food for thought there. So that is pretty much the highlights there on the ratio trading. So Richard Heart tokens are king. Everything in the system is designed to prop those up. Number two, a lot of people are searching for those popular PRC 20s, top meme coins like SHIB and Pepe, and of course tokens like Uni and Link are pretty popular. So people are speculating on it. Some people are speculating short term just so they can get more pulse before the bridge opens up. Some people are going to probably hold large volumes of those in the future, hoping that the communities come in and pump those up. And of course, the price gains could be pretty mad on those too. So you've got lots of people preparing it. And of course, number three is the downside. Avoid dead tokens that are not supported or obviously a bit scammy there. There are those out there because some of the teams have reissued tokens, as I say, Zen and of course Fiat, the fork of Aave, two of those teams. So just take care out there. Obviously, also the weight token from Coast. They've launched they've got the V2 token as well. So there are teams out there like that. Also, Internet Money is one of those as well, I believe. So just take that into account. So there are teams out there with issues like that, and you don't want to be trading a dead coin and lose your precious pulse because a lot of those appear to Pulse and PulseX. So be careful with those strategies as well. So I think that's a good summary of what's going on there. And of course, some of the big whales have already moved some of their positions from PulseX to Pulse. They've made this stuff because some of them missed out. You know, they were big whales, maybe in the top 30, and they've moved some of it over to Pulse and stuff like that. So people are making their positions before the bridge opens up. And of course, your chance to accumulate with less competition, as volatile as it can be, less competition from others, because it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. This is like a balloon that's blowing up. And you are super early. It's only like 2 puffs of breath have gone into this balloon. So just take that into account. All right, let's get into some of the questions in the chat there. Now I'll get to all the questions that are going on there. Many of them are off topic, but you guys love bringing off topic questions. So we're going to get into that. Where else? How far back do I have to go? But welcome to everybody. Of course, we're up to about 90 people, which is pretty cool. What else? Let's get into it. We're going to go into, let me just leave it on the ratio here. We'll leave it on there. That's the Pulse to PulseX ratio. Or should we leave it on the tokens there? We're on the tokens. Yeah, we'll leave it on the Pulse ratio. That's pretty cool. We'll leave it on there. What else? Let's see here. So the Gwei at the moment, by the way, is at 4.5 million. So it's probably costing around about, I don't know, 1,800 Pulse, something like that. Maybe 1,700 Pulse per swap at the moment, which is a heck of a lot. But that's because of these Zen minters. They keep minting, which is a good thing for the chain globally, but not so good for you trying to do low fees transactions. So just remember that. Where am I going there? All right. What else? We got a few copyings. We got David Kuhn in the house. I only have PulseX. Should I swap some for Pulse? I think I've just talked about Richard Art Coins are king. You have to decide for yourself what you're going to do, not financial advice, of course. AAI says, how do I get Pulse to pay for fees? A lot of people have been having that trouble. A lot of people have been wanting to get a bit of Pulse because other fees are very high. And so it's probably a bit frustrating. You're trying to get your positions right, but you've got no Pulse to start off with. You've got other coins that you got copied over. But yeah, that's probably been an issue. I want to swap PLX. Yeah, are you talking about PLSX? I think that's what you mean. The Pulse. But you've got no Pulse. Well, you might have to borrow some from somebody or get someone to send you a little bit there. It's probably all you can do, I would say. Yeah, it's a bit hard for a lot of people when people don't want to dox their addresses and stuff like that. But maybe someone will help you out. You can jump in our Discord, but Discord's not really designed to give away a lot of Pulse. Now, the one thing I was going to say is that there is a site called Free Pulse. They're looking to launch. They'll be the closest thing to a faucet. Will be Free Pulse. So you can find the link to that in our Discord. Of course, you'll have to go to their Twitter to see what's happening there with the Free Pulse. In fact, I might just pop that up now while we're here, just to see what if they've given any update around that. There is no official faucet. Remember, there's no official faucet. Okay. There is no official faucet. Free Pulse will be the closest one that I know of to that. There's nothing else around there. So 4 hours ago here, perfect timing. Ching ching. Welcome to Hex Token channel. Get all the latest and greatest upgrade regarding the faucet. The initial interest in Pulsechain.com is so intense that gas fees are currently skyrocketing. At this point, withdrawals are too expensive to run the faucet properly. That faucet is not operational yet, but you should follow these guys because they're the only ones that are offering a faucet coming up that I know of. And yeah, that is the answer to your question. I'll post that link in the chat so you can get that at the moment. All right. That is in the chat there. Let me pop that up there. I guess I have to go all the way down to the chat, but that is it there. That is the link, Free Pulse. I will be providing a referral link in the future, but that is not relevant at the moment. What else? What else there? Let's see who else is in there. We've got Kay Figure in the house there. Nice to see as always. Matt and Barley says Hex.com stake page still not working. Akosa is and shows Hex on both chains, but doesn't mention in the apps non-native on Pulsechain. While some people have said that the go.hex.com site has been working for the Hex stakes, see your Hex stakes on Pulsechain, and of course that has been working for me. Wasn't working earlier today, but someone else told me that it wasn't working for them, and then suddenly it was working for them. So there is a little bit of a working, not working for that. But definitely the Akosa app does work to see not only your Hex stakes, but on Pulsechain, but also Akosa and Hedron. So use Akosa until that sort of settles down. Lal says PulseX was just under 5 billion burned before I left for work. What's it up to now? Well, we talked about that earlier. It is doing pretty well there. 5.35 billion burned so far. Pretty impressive. And there's lots of stuff to burn now. But hey, it's not economic. I wouldn't be burning any of these things. None of these, even these big 1,000 LPs, they're not economic. While the gas prices are up at this high of 4.5 million beats, that is not economic. Just trust me on that one. But there we are. That is it. Even some of these big Ks, they're not going to get you your profit. You'd have to have it in the millions of LP to make it a profitable trade in terms of the bounty that you will receive. Just take that into account. I don't even think they show. They don't even show. Yeah, because there's no dollars on the platform, they won't show you the bounty. But once the dollars all been hooked up on the front end, you'll get the amount of the bounties there that you can burn. That's one way of getting some free crypto. But you got to wait till the gas prices come down. And of course, there's secondary. If you want to see how much that is, you have to wait to the actual interface is upgraded with the dollars and everything showing. All right, Hex Force 1. Hey, Superman. Good to see you. Hex Force 1 as always. LS says, I got the Pulse all set up. Started farming. Can't believe I delayed it 24 hours. Ready to hear your yield farming strats. Well, hopefully, LS, you got some good clues about what will probably happen. That is kind of the alpha strategy I just showed you guys. Just take that into account with the incentive farming. Check my Pulse says, can you show us yield farming? Well, I've got that in the video. So this video, if you watch this is the video that is the introduction for Pulsechain yield farming. So watch that. That's on testnet v4. So that is there too. so you can check that out. Let's go down, man. There's lots of comments in there. So that is the yield farming beginner video. And of course, you can see all the clues. There's lots of clues in there too, building on what I've talked about today. So definitely check that out. I'm sorry for not sharing the screen earlier. I forgot that I was not sharing the screen, but we might go through that stuff again. Although I did a good audio talk over. I did a good audio talk over. He says to himself, he's trying to save himself from embarrassment, but this is the way it goes. What else? Let's going to jump through these comments a bit quicker. Let's go. Well done to you, LS, by the way. Let's go scrolling all that. D-Wave says PLSX 100x by mid-2025. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, D-Wave. Yeah, Hex one says not sharing screen. Yeah, apologize for that. It took me a little while. But hey, it's okay. You're not sharing screen. Yeah, a lot of people there. Sorry about that, man. Let me get into that. So yeah, well, let's go into what I wasn't sharing the screen on. So I was talking about Pulsechain here, and I was talking about the fact that the blockchain is ticking along pretty well. We got see the gas prices up here is running along at the moment. We got 5.3 million beats. So it's pretty expensive. So do a swap at this price is already around about 2,200 pulse to do a swap, probably around about 250 pulse to do a transfer or something. So it is pretty expensive at the moment. And of course, your culprit here, Zen, they launched earlier today, and of course, to cause all havoc here. They're running at about 20,000 global ranks per hour at the moment. They will taper off, and there will be volatility. We just don't know where it's going to land. They started off at 31 million beats when they launched. Look at that thing. That's when they launched. And of course, it's still going along. Has come down pretty low, but you've got to time it right here. They're currently obviously a lift in the amount of minting going on other things, but it has jumped up there to 7.3. So hopefully that comes down. Remember, it's probably going to come down. We just got to see where it lies because these guys are pretty ferocious with the old minting there. But that's good for burning. So it might be a short-term inconvenience for a long-term gain because they are burning a ton of pulse. A ton of pulse is being burned. So it's kind of a good thing there. Now, the Block Explorer is also obviously struggling a little bit with the sign there, but we did do 655,000 transactions on the old screen there. So I might enlarge that so you can see that. So we did 655,000 there. We are running 10-second block times. It will take probably, it could take, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks maybe for these full indexing to finish, but it's up to 22 million, probably end up about 230 million wallets by the time we finish. The blocks are ticking over there as well. We got some transactions showing. The transactions a little bit delayed, but that's a minute ago, so it's not too bad. But you got to be patient with that. Not sure what the team can do to fix that up, but definitely is under pressure with all the congestion as well. So that's ticking away. What else were we going to say about this? We did awesome transactions the first 24 hours. We had somebody here tweet that we had done 369,000 in 24 hours on the 13th of May. And of course, compared to a lot of the other DEXs, amazing, right? So it's been roughly 24 hours and Pulsechain's existence. And this is how the DEX is compared to other major blockchains. Once we have the bridge, we get an idea of the dollar amount. And of course, you can see 369,000. Ethereum did 268,000. Arbitrum did 244. So the only ones really higher were the BSC chain, 840,000. And of course, the Solana, there's 619,000 on the Pulse chain. And this is how its DEXs are compared. So we pretty much beat out all of them. So pretty cool on that. And I think that's pretty neat. So cool. All right. So that's pretty much that. And of course, the bridge, we're waiting for the bridge to launch. And of course, we're waiting for the sign here. This message will go away when Pulsechain mainnet goes live. So stay tuned for that. So that's the stuff that I missed when I didn't have my screen up. So hopefully I've covered that. That was a bit embarrassing, but hey, that's just the way it goes. You do that sometimes. What else? Let's go through some of these. What else? Yeah, I got through that, Stitzy. Sorry about that. So hopefully I've made up for that a little bit. Caltrix says I have about 183 million of PulseX. Will I be a millionaire when bridging? Caltrix, you shouldn't really talk about your own bags publicly. That's just a good rule to live by. But yes, 183 million. That will make you a squid that will make you a squid at least. So congratulations. All right. What else there? Okay, Figure says, I think it's important to make people aware EHEX is the end game because Pulse blockchain is ultimately for eventually raising fees, and ETH fees will eventually decline. Well, that's true. I think they're all going to do well there, Cape Figure. ETH, Hex on ETH and Hex on Pulsechain, both of them are going to probably do very, very well indeed, and it will lift all boats. There are more mechanisms in Pulsechain to raise value, and those we just started early, Cape Figure. You got to remember that too, right? So the game's just ramping up. The balloon is just blowing up. So this is, we'll have a lot of the stuff in the first 2 months. We're going to have waves of growth. So it's started off absolutely amazing. I've been mind blown with the amount of burns through Pulsechain and PulseX. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Hex on Ethereum is going to benefit. So yeah, it's going to be cool. Just patience, more patience. Brazology's in house. Say Briz. I didn't even get to do the Hex daily stats today, Briz. I feel bad. I feel bad about that. What else there? Let's jump into some of these comments. Everyone's becoming a millionaire in the chat. I like that. What else? Let's jump through all those. We're going to come with, oh man, we've got lots of stuff in there. Let's going through there. Where do we get up to? I'm just going through the chat here trying to catch up. Yeah, so make sure that you've got your positions ready before the bridge, because once that window of opportunity goes out, you will miss it, right? So just to make sure that if you've got tokens on wallets, maybe you forgot about wallets that you got tokens on, they got copied over, you can make sure that you can choose to swap those into Pulsechain or whatever like that to get as much of Richard Hart tokens as you can. So just remember that. We saw, earlier today, Trayvon was saying that he had 100 million Zen and he switched it all in the Pulse. This is the old Zen, the dead Zen, and he switched into Pulse. So I think he turned it into 40 million Pulse. So really try and get yourself positioned strongly in the Richard Hart tokens. Going to be pretty important. So yeah, not financial advice, but you know how we roll. LS says, oh, I sacked from Mintra. Wonder what's going on with that. Yeah. So find out from the teams themselves if they're not got the right information there. Really pressure them. Get into the Telegram groups because they should give you the best information they can. Some of the teams are a little bit poor on the information. So, you got to pressure them a little bit there. 10 million PulseX only gives you 25,000 Hex. Not happening today, says Pulse Epidemic. Yeah, so let's talk about Hex at the moment. So I think the Pulse ratio there, let's go to that. That's a good question. So we've got the incentive token doing pretty well, but let's go to the Pulse Hex ratio. So let's have a look at that. This has been drifting down to about 1 and 200, I think it was. So let's go to PulseX actually. PulseX kind of easier to see it. So let's go to Hex. Let's go to Hex and let's flip that around. Let's type in 1 Hex here. It's a little easier to see. So we've got the 1 Hex there. It's 106. So I saw this go down to 97 pulse per Hex. Yeah, it's definitely kind of cool like that. Let's see what the numbers, we make the numbers bigger there. I've got the wrong computer. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, 1 to 1,000 will get you, Hex will get you 104,000 pulse. So some people are saying that the ratio really, this is meaning that pulse is much more stronger value. Obviously, some people are saying the pulse should be around, test nets around 200 or so, but definitely it's been a lot stronger. I've seen it at 150 pulse per Hex, but pulse is definitely strengthening there. So yeah, a lot of people I would generally suggest is to hold your Hex and wait for, we'll see what happens once the bridge opens up around parity with EHEX or Hex, EHEX I guess we'll call it, on the Ethereum chain. And so yeah, just that's probably a general suggestion. Once again, you can do what you want. You can ratio trade all your heart's content. Hope that you win and make the right choices. But that is definitely the play at the moment with the 1 to 200. I've seen it at 150. I've seen it at 97 just earlier. Definitely on the low side. Pulse definitely looking stronger versus the Hex on Pulsechain at the moment. What else? Jump through that. We've got KBM from Japan. Konnichiwa. Welcome. What else there? We'll jump through all those there. A lot of moon math in the chat, which is cool. Now, LS says, ladies is a meme coin. Elon Musk pump that I missed. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, LS. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that one. Definitely smash the like button, says Vinrix. I like that. We're jumping in here. Can we stake PHEX or Hex on Pulsechain? Yes, you can, using Icosa app there. And of course, some people was having trouble with the Go Hex, but you can use this app on here that can do Hex. So you can stake Hex there on this app. The other one, of course, I'll post that in the chat there. You can cash up with that Sitsi. There it is in the chat. What else? You can also try and use Go Hex, the main official site. And I'm pretty sure that's working. Has logged on. Doesn't seem to be rejecting that. So you can try this one too. I'll post that in the chat as well. All right, what else are we doing? We're going down the bottom here. We're just going through the different questions that people have. And yeah, we're doing pretty well here on that. So let's go back to PulseX. PulseX, let's do that. And we're going to switch around and do a million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's not a million. 1 million there. Yeah, so it's 1 to 3.8 ratio at the moment. What else? Let's jump in. This is funny. Caltrix, you're funny, man. Are you guys ratio trading? Sounds super risky, man. This is what's the title of the video? PulseX ratio trading and best yield farming strategies, dude. You come into a ratio trading, dude. You gotta. What else are we talking about, dude? I have not executed my order. Yeah. That's pretty hilarious, man. And Jake says, will we know if stablecoins will validate Pulse version of bridge? Should be fine. We don't know that for 100% certainty, but the DAI should be fine for that, and any other thing bridged over. The DAI is the one that's the best because it's over collateralized and it's a basket of goods sitting behind it. That's why it's the preferred one compared to USDC, USD Tether. So yeah, whether they turn on you're talking about turning on off the ETH side, that'd be pretty dramatic to do that. But yeah, the DAI one should have that extra protection. What's up, Hexkins, DHex in house? Good to see you. KBM as well. Please, where to see my copy of Staked Hex? Do we ever wait for the bridge? Well, I've showed you that copy. You can find it on those two sites that I just showed, which is this one here. Same question. You can see them on either of these two sites, and I posted this in the chat. Woohoo! Rock on. All right, so that's that. Let's go into the house. We've got 91 people in the watching at the moment, so good to see everybody. Pot of Gold says incentive Hex chart has been up. Yeah, let's look at that. That's a good chart to look at. So incentive Hex, we've got that too. So I did the incentive Pulsechain, but the incentive Hex definitely should be up too. So yeah, look at that. Woohoo! So incentive is rocking it, man. So you can see that drop you some nice, if you weren't thinking about it, drop you some nice alpha there around the yield farming with the incentive and what's coming up in the future. You can swim with the whales now. You can swim the whales. Obviously, you take on liquidity issues, but apart from that, that incentive token is hotly sought after. You can see the price charts are already moving. Who knows what will happen when the bridge opens up and the big farmers come in with their stable coins. It's going to be crazy. All right. Cape says I'll try again. More Hex with my PulseX. Nice one to keep. Jake says it'd be cool if incentive has functionality for the DAO. Yeah, it may very well do, Jake, as well. Like I said, there may be staking for it. There may be burning. Who knows what other mechanisms? There'll be third-party dApps like Fiat, for example. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that. Pudding Guru says, and the world record for live streaming goes to Superman. Absolutely. We're going good on that. Briz is all Hex on Icosa PX. That is Hex. Yeah, Icosa Hex is is Hex on Pulsechain. You just have to switch the blockchain though. You switch on your MetaMask to Ethereum. That's going to be Hex on Ethereum, right? Or eHex as we now call it. Murky's talking about Tate the Talisman. You're talking about that. I'll pull that up. That is part of the rumors, but we'll pull that up just for fun. Let me just pull that up just one moment. You want to pull up the Tate and the pumping the Pulsechain? We'll have a look at that. Why not? It's always a bit of fun. I hope they can pull up your comment though. See if they can pull it up easy enough. Let's jump down there. Actually, I can't pull that tweet. We may have to leave that out. No, it's not showing. You're right. Sorry, it's not showing. I can't pull it up. So sorry about that one. But yeah, there's the tweet about Tate the Talesman, and of course about Pulsechain, right? So this one here. So you can check that out if you want. What else? Let's joke here. Hex Down Under says smash the like button. Definitely smash the like button. What else there? Anderson and House there. What are some of the best guesses regarding when the bridge might open? Like a few days or weeks? Now we're expecting it within probably 24 to 48 hours. Obviously, we're not in control of it, but that's been the general expectation. We're already 33 hours or something into it. Yeah, it could be overnight, could be tomorrow, but definitely it's going to be sooner than later. The window of ratio trading is going to be limited. But you guys should consider yourself lucky. A lot of you guys are going to, if you're not doing your positioning and stuff like that, a lot of you is going to be, you're going to be going, I should have, I even watched Superman's channel and I still didn't do anything. You don't want to be that guy, right? You don't want to be that guy. So make sure you get yourself in the right position. Check if you've got any, you can go through the checker as well and check your wallet. So you can actually check to make sure you've got all your tokens listed, because you might want to ratio trade some of those if there's liquidity. So if you go to useful links in our Discord, you'll find all the links to Pulsechain. They're all there for Pulsechain mainnet. But one of the ones that you may not have done is the PRC20 tracker, and you can go to see through your wallets and get it to scan all your wallets, add any decent tokens. Remember, don't add crap tokens if there are any. Most of them have probably been got rid of, but you can click the scan and it will run the scan through all the 5,039 tokens and go for gold. Look at that, it's going through and it will add any tokens. Now this is just a play wallet I used on here, but if you did that, it's going to pop up and add the wallet, add the token to your wallet if you so choose. Now if you don't want it, just ignore it. It's going to probably take a couple of times. It will ignore it and then it will continue the scan if you don't want the token, because maybe it's a scam. I think there's only one token that I picked up that was potentially dodgy, and the rest of them were fine. So that's kind of cool. That's some useful links under scanner there. I might copy that and post it in the chat there, just in case you want to see that out. But we have all the links to Pulsechain in the useful links under Discord. Discord links in the video description. Now let's have a look here. Check my pulse says farms now open or wait till the bridge opens. So there's one farm open, only one farm open now on the Pulsechain. That is this one here, the Pulse PLSX Pulse. You earn incentive tokens there, and of course you can see the incentive token is going up and to the right versus Hex and Pulse and everything else. But as you saw in my video, there will be these ones pop up after the bridge. DAI Pulse, incentive Pulse, and incentive Pulse. We're expecting those. That's on testnet. So it's not 100% given, but they popped up on testnet, so that's probably what's going to happen. And of course, they had 40x multipliers on the incentive PLX. They had 10x multipliers on the PulseX Pulse and the DAI Pulse. So the APR is going to probably be way higher for that. And if you think about it, what's a good way of locking up more incentive token is to have this kind of liquidity pool LP stacks there, right? So that's going to lock it into the trading P. Obviously, it can be bought and sold, but it is kind of a sticky mechanism there. Alex says, so at the moment, there's only one farm. Correct. That is correct. I did liquidity for PulseX, but no farm to earn incentive. That's right. So you can earn the fees just by doing liquidity. So whatever farms in there, you can do liquidity, but there's only one farm. So if liquidity providing, you're going to earn 0.22% of the trade fee, which is 0.29%. So it's about 76% of the trade fee. But you'll get that fee in proportion to your ownership of the pool with your LP tokens. And of course, it will also depend on how much volume is going through. Are people using that trading pair that you've got it in? Maybe you did uni and SHIB. You put liquidity on those two. Now, obviously, that's going to have a certain amount of turnover, and you'll earn the share fees of that. But there is no yield farming token, so there's only this one. This is the only pair that's incentivizing with the yield farm. So take that into account. Now, what other farms will pop up there? We don't know. At the moment, the only thing we've seen on testnet to give us a clue is this here. And so if this does occur, then that is the best strategy, right? You're going from a 10x to a 40x. Now, obviously, if that doesn't occur, what happens if they go to mainnet and they have different multipliers? That's possible. So remember, this is not financial advice. We're just going about what was on testnet v4 and how that ramped up. So yeah, post bridge we got the die-in, and then we had these other two pools pop up after that. So take that into account. Just trying to do what does possibly most likely to occur is basically how I see it. It's going to cost 900 PLS to mint some Hedron. You guys think this is a right amount at 1 cent PLS? That is $9 fee. Yeah. Well, $9 is better than Uniswap at $25, I guess. That's one way of looking at it. But yeah. What else? Let's get in here. We're going to jump through here. Let's go back through some of that. So that is kind of cool. Let's get back into, we'll get back in here. And incentive tokens are performing very well indeed. Some people buy the incentive token, right? Speculating that they'll get more pulse. So the short-term gains as well. Maybe you buy the incentive tokens because you think the price, the amount of Hex is going to go up. But what happens if it goes down? What if it goes down? Then you're going to lose pulse, right? Or lose incentive token, for example. So there is that as well. But if you're pretty confident about where it's going, it's a good argument. And of course, if these come into play, then it makes more demand for the incentive token. So even if it dips down in the short term, maybe the long term, it's going up and away for a while. So anyway, not financial advice, but you can see the logic. That's for sure. All right, so those are the tokens at the moment. We've got the wrap Pulse at the top there. Pulse Hex next. Pulse Hex X. These are by price. But yeah, we've got no dollar values, right? No liquidity, no volume, because there's no dollar. When they first popped these up, they accidentally had the $1 representing the DAI. PulseX also had the accident of having the price up in $1 of DAI. That was taken down. So these mistakes have happened before. And I think we saw that with the proof of work one, the power one, ETH power. So yeah, definitely issue. Yeah, US dollar tethered here, a wrap Pulse. We've got this. So remember, don't trade your Pulse, your PulseX, and all your valuable tokens for the stable coins that got copied over the Pulsechain. Don't do that. Don't trade your tokens for dead coins like the old Zen contract, the old Fiat contract, things like that. Don't do that. So be careful what you do. That's all I'm going to say. Jay, everything says I donated it to ZenBot so they could pay for gas fees. That's pretty funny. What else there? RH, you're a diamond, says Kate Figure. Nice one. Why does the LP get so much? Scam, says Tilly. Why are you guys like writing scam about everything? Not everything's a scam, man. Not everything's a scam. Maybe 1 cent and PLS is around the corner. The reason why they do that is they lock away with a lot of supply and they provide liquidity that people can buy and sell. It's utility, man. It's not a scam. And so they give the LP token to encourage people to do that. You're competing with another chain. You need to get those stable coins and funds into the main chain. That's why they do it. So, yeah, there's a lot of utility and a lot of value creation by doing that. It is worth it at the end. I assume when Richard Hart wakes up, it goes live. Yeah, Mickey, it's probably the case. What else? Jump through some of these. Brizology says he's filling up the block space so others have to pay more. Well, they do for a while, Briz, but then they're going to run out of money eventually as well, right? They are burning a lot of wasteful money on a lot of chains, a lot of stuff there. There are pros to the system, but it's a pretty inefficient system to create value, and so there's a lot of burn. Eventually, people get sick of that, so we will see. Vampires are not so bright, says Jay Everything. Right, let's jump through some of these other things. Let's go through the bottom there. Hi, Miss Squid. Yeah, sounds like it. Congratulations on being a squid. Brizology says, remember everybody, we all got to agree to not sell Jack any of our Pulse. Well, that's what liquidity pools are for. They're anonymous. You can buy, well, rather as long as your address is not doxed. DB Cooper says we should all be agreeing to buy up EHEX to show the haters we are a force. Yeah. I think EHEX is going to benefit for a lot from Pulsechain. So, Richard says he wants the value chains on all chains. In other words, ETH and Pulse. What else we got going here? Let's go through some of that. Let me look up some of that. Remember, this is a no drama channel, by the way. So just a lot of you guys are breaking the rules today. Just remember that. So this is a no drama channel. We got so many DGNs in that chat today with DGN comments. Yeah, family channel. It's a no drama and a family channel. So please try to respect that in the chat there. No using all the swear words and catchphrases. Hopefully the moderators are deleting some of those stuff because it's not cool. We have got a reputation dolled up here. So yeah. So if there's any slang stuff, if moderators can delete that stuff, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hex Token says, Superman is my #1 streamer. Outworks everyone apart from Somi. That dude's a robot. I think he lives on social media there, Hex Token. I think he lives on social media. Touched on one-sided staking pool. I probably missed it. No, I didn't, because we're not expecting that to be up and running. But one-sided staking pools, we may not get that for at least a few weeks. Maybe could be quite a while time. We'll see whether Richard has any surprises around that. Typically, it's going to be for third-party projects to airdrop, but it'll be interesting to see whether there is any surprise. Maybe there might be a short-term sort of marketing ploy with the incentive token drop to one-sided staking pools, but they'll probably get eaten up pretty quick. Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll be done for that. But hey, stay tuned. Richard Hart is the master of marketing there. What else there? We're going to jump through some of these. Presidio says, I got a good tip on ratio trading on PulseX. Bring up both PulseX and Uniswap. Put it in the pairs and amounts you want to trade on both platforms. See what the ratios are on each network. What else? Let's see. We've got Chich Universal Oneness. Do you have a guess for the price or amount of X's after 24 hours and in 1 week? For fun, not serious. I've been ratio trading long. That's for you, Briz. That's for you. That's a big question for you, man. Womsy's in house there. Sacrifice from PulseX, but not Pulse. When the bridge launches, will I be able to get Pulse to bridge over? If not, how will I be able to get Pulse? So if you had some Ethereum, you should have some Pulse. Yeah, but there's a big issue with people not having Pulse. But you will probably have to, you will need to get some Pulse somehow. So free Pulse is probably the best bet, or you're going to have to borrow big and steal, not steal. Borrow. You have to borrow. Ask for someone to give you a bit of Pulse. Is probably what you're going to have to do there. 1 million Hedron gets you 3.39 on Uniswap. Says yeah, we'll jump through all that. What else there? Let me jump through some of those. The burn page. You want me to go to the burn page? Look at that. Someone wants a burn page there. Let's look at the burn page, Superman. Yeah, well, it was already at 5.39 billion. So that 5.39 billion is the burn page. And these are the tokens. But I don't think there's anything worth burning at the moment, given the gas prices are so high. Yeah, I'm looking through all that. You'd have to have the LP in the millions. This is the closest one, 227,000. It'd have to probably be in the millions for you to make any money. Yeah, the gas prices are pretty high. Or it's down to 3.6. So that might be, probably still need in the millions to make that profitable. Because there's no worth use claiming that even at that high. You probably want that to be a million or something like that, million LP to worth claiming this one. But yeah, you can try and do that. Bam, and then it's going to pop the ticket up. Oh, it's actually saying the gas is pretty low. That's because I've got no Pulse. That's probably just not making sense on my wallet here. So yeah, food for thought. You didn't know that if you want to get some yield, but it's not profitable at the moment. So just take that into account. Assuming it's great, hit the like button, says Vinrix. I appreciate that, Vinrix. Jump through some of this. What? Let's jump in here. Yeah, just remember it's a no drama channel. You guys are breaking all my rules today, man. This is probably the most breakable channel here. And where are my mods today? My mods, are they working? Come on, guys. You guys got the blue wrenches there. Keep the chat clean, man. Keep the chat clean. Right. No drama. A family channel. Let's get it on, says Christian. Yeah, 100%. All right. Let's get in here. And what are we going to do? I think we're almost done with that. So let's see where some stuff are going. We've got PulseX Pulse that's ticking away. And of course, you can see the trends for yourself. So it's a good idea to get in here and get a feel for what's going on with the PulseX. You can sort of see it's mucking around here. around 0.26. So one PulseX is going to get you 0.26 pulse, and that's good ratio for you. Let's jump back. What else we got there? PulseX at the moment. Like I say, I think generally speaking, it's good just to hold your hex stakes that you've got, or liquid hex. It's up to you what you do though. But you can sort of see that we're kind of in the middle of this range, and that means kind of a no trade. You can decide for yourself. What else there? PulseX Hex. We're kind of in this range as well. We have had a bit of an uptrend, so that would have been a nice play. If you had PulseX, would have been a nice trade into Hex here. And then, of course, you could trade back into PulseX as the price went down. That would have been a nice little move. If you've got a clear trend, it's probably worthy of doing, but you just don't know that at the time. And of course, you just got to play the pump mentals. Now, incentive token, as I said to you, has a narrative, right? As a narrative with the future pulls, so that makes sense. With the bridge opening up, that kind of makes sense. So, yeah, food for thought there. What else there? Keep away from the stable coins that copied, like this DAI. That's not the bridged-in DAI, so keep away from those. Yeah, these ones, SHIB and Pepe, have been pretty popular. You can see in the 24 hours, up 834% on SHIB, 216 on Pepe. So they've definitely been popular, the meme coins as top PRC20s. We knew that was going to be the case, right? The top PRCs and obviously popular ones that have been like Pepe recently. You can see the SHIB one to Pulse. SHIB gaining value over Pulse as the uptrend. It's got a bit of a sell-off though, so yeah, that's where the trick is. And that's kind of a play. Pepe has been doing pretty well, as we say. I think it's cooled off now. Yeah, cooled off now. But that's definitely moved higher than it was. One Pepe was getting you 0.0026 pulse. That is now at 0.0083 on that one. So definitely the case there. So what's that? 1. Let's do it. 1 divided by 0.0008 equals 1250. So one pulse will get you 1250 Pepe. As this seems to be the case there. It seems like a deal. What else? Now, obviously, with the price of Hex at the moment, you can do implied values, right? So for Hedron, implied values, if you've got a price over an Ethereum, you can do implied values if you've got the ratio between coins. So if you think Hex is going to reach parity on Pulsechain to on Ethereum, for example, and you know the ratio of Pulse, then you can do an implied value for Pulse, right? So you can do that too. So you can work that out if you want to try and get some implied US dollar value. But really, we don't really know until the chain goes live. So just remember that. So let's do one here. We've got Hex here, and let's just do a 1 there. Oh, that's a 1. Let's do a 1. Let's do 1 Hex. So I'm on the wrong computer. I got 2 computers and I'm hitting the wrong keyboard. 1 there, so 1 to 103. So if Hex is what, 3.3 cents? I don't know what it is at the moment, but if it's 3.3, 3.3 cents, say, then divided by 103, then you've got a price of 0.0032, which is like maybe a 4x on the 200% 4x on the sacrifice price. So it kind of gives you that idea of doing some implied prices. Obviously, we won't know until the market opens up and they've got that bridge opening. All right. Have I gone through everything? I think I have. Hound 33. I think I have done it. I think I've done it. I even got through the chat, which was absolutely DGN today. You DGNers in there. The Superman ready to lay the Superman smackdown if chat doesn't behave. Yeah. Normally my chats are the most cleanest chats out of all the influencers in the space. But today, so many DGNs, you in there. All right. I hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys gained some insights out of here in terms of what people are trading, what not to trade, and of course that your window of opportunity for ratio trading will close when that bridge opens up. And so you've got a bit of an advantage early, right? You guys are here early. A lot of people are not even aware of their airdrops. Their copies, basically, when I say airdrops, I should say their copies on Pulsechain from Ethereum. A lot of people are not even aware. And of course, you know how it rolls. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, just make sure you get your positions right and make the most of it. You can play the short game, but the layer ones and big dexes, the longer game is the bigger X's, right? So you can play the short game, but just remember there's opportunity cost. So take care of as well. Finally, don't forget that yield farming strategy for the incentive token looks pretty cool, and the big whales have been making big moves. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see that play out. You can also swim with the whales. All right, take care, everybody. We're going to play out some cool stuff on the way out. Why not? Let's do some fun stuff here with Richard Hart. Let's do it. All right, take care, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And if you want to join as a member, hit the join button. We've got Pulsechain, Hexkins, Richard Hart Club. But of course, if you have any more questions, get onto the Discord. It is free, a free Discord. How about that? Everyone else charges, but Wells is free. And of course, we've got a best community in there. So definitely join up as well. All right, take care. Bye for now. Peace out. Peace out, as we say. Peace out.
My $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.